Chair Frank. Vice Chair Sanchez. Commissioner Chavez.
Here.
Commissioner Meyer.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Let's move to the Pledge of Allegiance. How about we'll do Mr. Chavez. Can you lead us, please, in our pledge? Chavez?
Yes. Please join me in placing your hand over your right heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. It's good thing not in the chorus, huh? Okay, we're moving on to public comment. This is item C on our agenda. This is inviting the public to comment on items that are not on our agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments?
Chair Frank, we do not have any verbal comments or email comments.
Okay, thank you. We'll move from items again. I'll close public comment. We'll move to our consent agenda, approving our minutes of June 18, 2020. Has everyone had an opportunity to review those? Any comments, corrections? All right, hello. I just went dark, here we go. So I'll entertain roll call, please. Oh, do I have a motion? I'll move to approve.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion by Frank and a second by Meyer. Roll call.
Commissioner Chavez.
Aye.
Vice Chair Sanchez.
I think is he using blinking eyes? That's what it looks like.
Vice Chair Sanchez, if you could wave your hand for a yes. Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Chair Frank.
Yes.
Motion
Thank you.
passes.
Thank you. Anybody have any ex parte communications on anything on our agenda this evening? I don't.
No.
None from Chavez.
No. Okay. And for the record, Vice Chair Sanchez is shaking his head in the negative. Thank you. We'll move to item F, continued public hearing. This is remember the Verizon Danube project, planning and zoning permit number 18-530-01. There's been a request to continue that to a date certain, September 17, 2020, subject to a condition imposed by the planning department for additional information to be submitted by August 10, 2020. Otherwise, they have to start over. So I'll entertain a motion to continue.
Move to continue.
I have a motion by Chavez. I'll second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Chavez.
Aye.
Chair Frank.
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer.
Yes.
Vice Chair Sanchez. Motion passes.
Okay, and for the record, let's describe the motion by Vice Chair Sanchez, which was a nod and a wave in the affirmative. Okay, thank you very much. We'll now move to our public hearing, item G on our agenda. This is planning and zoning permit number 20-510-02, special use permit for alcohol. Our project planner is Randy Bays. So Mr. Bays, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Frank, and good evening, Planning Commissioners and representatives from the Police Department. Just 1 second of your time. Before you all tonight, we have the Casa Agria Specialty Ales Project. This is a planning and zoning permit number 251002, which is a special use permit for alcohol. This application was filed by Michael Wayant, the applicant and business owner. This request is to allow the sale of beer for on and off-site consumption. That includes a 381 square foot tasting room within an 8,127 square foot tenant space located within a 125,514 square foot multi-tenant building located at 701 North Del Norte Boulevard, Suite 360. Casa Agria currently occupies Suite 310, but is relocating to 360 in order to expand their operation. And here are the proposed hours of operation for the tasting room. However, the police department is conditioning that the tasting room have alcohol sales between 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. for better flexibility. For some background on the project, the Planning Commission approved special use permit number 97-589 back in 1998 for the construction of the existing building. Subsequently, in 2015, the Planning Commission approved special use permit number 15-510-02 to allow for on and off-site sales of alcohol within Suite 310. Casa Agria has occupied that suite since. The project site is located in the northeast quadrant of the city within an existing 125,000 square foot multi-tenant industrial business park. The zoning of the property is light manufacturing plan development, or M1PD, and the general plan land use designation is industrial light. The project site is surrounded by substantial similar industrial uses. These include an equipment rental warehouse to the north, a multi-tenant industrial building to the south, warehouse and distribution buildings to the east, and an agricultural field to the west. And here we have a street view from North Del Norte Boulevard looking west. If you can see here, this is the corner suite that the applicant will occupy. The applicant is proposing to occupy an approximately 8,000 square foot tenant space with a 381 square foot tasting room, which is highlighted here. This tasting room will allow for a seating capacity of 20 people, and the rest of the tenant space will be used for cold storage, a large production and storage area, and the following square footage of the tenant space will be used for office circulation, such as hallways, restrooms for the employees, and for the customers. And here we have the summary of the police report. The crime within 1,000 feet of the site is only 2.3% of the average for commercial properties citywide. So therefore, the site is not considered to be a policing problem, and no safety concerns were noted by the beat coordinator or neighboring businesses. There is one establishment, Trancas Vineyards, that currently sells wine for wholesale and off-site consumption that is located within 350 feet of the site. Therefore, there is a presumption of undue concentration per local guidelines, but these may be rebutted as Casa Agria is located within a well-established industrial business park with an extremely low crime rate. The presumption of undue concentration can also be rebutted in the interest of public convenience or necessity. As far as community input, the project is not located within an established neighborhood. Therefore, a community workshop was not required or held. However, nearby business operators were contacted regarding this application and proposed operations. Of those interviewed, no one had concerns about the business selling alcoholic beverages. One email was received from a member of the public in support of the application. This email had suggestions for alcohol service hours, designated parking space for a food truck, permanent outdoor seating, and elimination or modification of a condition of approval number 17 and 18. However, upon further review, condition of approval 17 and 18 actually referred to the previous SUP on the property from 2015. And with approval of this new application, the previous SUP will be rescinded. At this time, the landlord and applicant do not wish to propose permanent outdoor seating due to budgetary and operational costs. And the applicant is in support of the idea of a designated parking space for a food truck, but does not see a need for it based on availability of parking during proposed tasting room operating hours. And as clarified previously, alcohol service hours will be allowed from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. pursuant to a condition of approval from the police department. Moving on to some of those other conditions of approval from the police department. Condition of approval number 19 states that in the areas outside the business, not otherwise licensed by the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, otherwise known as ABC, allowing the service of alcohol, permittees shall post permanent signs indicating that loitering, open containers, and the consumption of alcoholic beverage is prohibited. This includes the parking lot, walkways, and other adjacent areas under permittees' reasonable control. Condition number 22, regarding video surveillance, states that permittees shall install a video surveillance system that shall be maintained at a reasonable industry standard and shall be operated 24 hours a day to monitor, at a minimum, the entrances and exits of any centralized point of sale and areas immediately surrounding the exterior of the business. The specifics of the camera system and any upgrades to the system shall be developed by the applicant in consultation with and approved by the Oxnard Police Department. And finally, condition of approval number 36 states that the activity at the site and the use of any amplifying system or device shall not be disruptive to neighboring uses. Staff believes that there is no significant reason to oppose this application. Under the recommended operating conditions, we believe that the manufacturer and sales of alcoholic beverages will have little, if any, adverse impact in the area. Therefore, staff recommends or finds this project exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, Section 15301 regarding existing facilities, and therefore a notice of exemption will be filed. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the project as submitted, finding the project to be categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15301 for existing facilities, and approve this resolution for planning and zoning permit number 251001, subject to certain findings and conditions. The applicant has agreed to all conditions of approval, and are there any questions?
Yes, one question.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes, thank you. I had a question about COA number 19 in regard to just imagining if there were a food truck kind of partnership situation there, would there be a way for, during the time of, if they were to do a food truck partnership, for there to be allowed to be drinking in the the parking lot in tandem with that, or is that just something that would not be possible or recommended? I don't even know if the applicant desires it, but it's just a thought that came to mind.
I could answer that question. Per ABC guidelines, we are not allowed to have anybody outside our premises drink any alcohol. So our licensed premises is just the footprint of the building. ABC is making exceptions to that rule given the COVID pandemic, and allowing breweries and other alcohol establishments to take over portions of the parking lots, to help spread people out. If you do that, you then have to set up temporary barriers and then work with the city and the local police department to make sure that you're meeting guidelines and people who are drinking be allowed within the off areas.
Perfect. Thanks, Mr. Wyatt. Chair Frank, you're muted.
It still can't come in, Chair Frank.
Chair Frank, we're not hearing you in the council chambers either. Perhaps logging off and logging back on might be a way to restart your microphone.
No, still nothing, Chair Frank. Um, 2-minute recess.
2 minute, 2 minutes to, okay. I would like to take the opportunity just to compliment the planner on a quality presentation. I especially appreciated the highlighting of the different spaces of the building. That made it really easy to understand.
Commissioner Meyer, thank you for that compliment.
No, we still have nothing from you either, Vice Chair. Mr. Qualowitz, is the applicant planning on presenting anything today, or is he just available for questioning?
Commissioner Chavez, the applicant.
I'm just available for questions.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Once the Vice Chair comes back, I will have, and once the Chairwoman returns, I will have a few questions for you, sir. That was already asked, Madam Chair. He doesn't. He's only available for questioning.
Oh,
So
thank you. Thank you for
well,
sharing that.
I'll
Okay.
start.
Okay, please, Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To our planner, question on the hours of operation. Was that the applicant agreeing to those hours? You did make mention that police had some concerns in regards to those proposed hours.
Yes, Commissioner Chavez. The police department did not have any concerns with the operating hours, but wished to allow the applicant to serve alcohol at earlier times.
Okay. Now, in that email that was received by a resident, they were suggesting some hours to be put into place. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the hours of operations. Is there a way that you can bring that up on the presentation? Bring that part, light it back up, please.
Sure, 1 second.
Thank
It's
you.
my understanding that the applicant is requesting hours from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. The police are saying they can operate from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So it gives him some flexibility, I think.
Chair Frank, that is accurate.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Mr. Kolowitz.
I said, Chair Frank, that is accurate. The hours of operation that are being allowed for in the alcohol special use permit are greater than what the applicant is currently asking for to allow operational flexibility as the market demand changes.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm familiar with this area. Now, isn't there a second winery, I want to say closer towards Gonzales Road?
Yeah, winery is up the block. I don't know how far away it is, whether or not it's Sturgis or
Okay. Now, go ahead.
Commissioner Chavez, I wanted to let you know that we do have Scott Swenson from the police department on the phone, so Scott could give us responses to any sort of requests or comments about where other alcohol facilities are in the immediate area.
Okay. Well, Mr. Swanson, I know it was mentioned in the presentation that there could be a perception of undue concentration of alcohol in the area. Can you just elaborate a little bit on that, of why that would give the impression that this could be considered an undue concentration?
It depends on how strictly you read the ordinance that covers undue concentration. It was established by the city in 2001, and how alike the licenses are that are nearby each other. If you take the most strict interpretation, it could be construed as undue concentration because there's a brewery and a wine manufacturing very close, within 350 feet of each other. I don't think it's a significant issue, and particularly with the crime that doesn't exist there, it's kind of moot. But I would be, it probably would be inappropriate not to comment about the fact that there's another existing manufacturer that close.
Now, does the city ordinance categorize whether it's wine versus other type of manufacturing, or is it just in general, it's manufacturing, that's what it is?
It's not that specific. It's rather vague. It specifically says not comparing licenses, but comparing uses. But again, it's not as specific as it could be.
Now, you may be aware of this, or maybe our police commander may be able to answer this. There are trailer, RVs that park in this particular area, you know, in the rural area. Is there any concerns with that?
I talked to the beat coordinator as part of the background investigation, and he said there were no issues related to crime or the operation of this site.
Okay. Now, is it typical for brewery manufacturers to stop at 10 o'clock and not later?
It's a matter of the sales hours, and those were the hours that we're talking about. No, we're not talking about the manufacturing time. The sales hours we're controlling.
Okay. Madam Chair, I don't know if you're going to allow me to ask a couple of questions of the applicant, or if you want me to wait until the other commissioners have staff and police.
You know, I'm always for open discussion, so if the questions are crossing over and you're concerned that is relevant at this moment, go ahead and ask the applicant.
Okay. Mr. Wendon, I apologize if I said your last name wrong. The proposed hours that you're requesting, you're comfortable with that?
Yeah, we would like the flexibility. It was really an oversight on my part when filling out the form. We just gave what our current hours of tasting room are open. I don't think we would ever, you know, open alcohols at 7 o'clock in the morning, but to have the flexibility to open at 10 o'clock on a weekend, you know, given if we had, you know, special beer coming out or something like that. So we would like keep the hours recommended by Scott Swenson.
Now, typically the people that are purchasing alcohol from your establishment, they're not somebody that just got off of work or something and on their way home, or, you know, this is people that typically go there because, you know, they're tasting or, you know, for a function, right?
Yeah, that's correct. We're definitely a destination brewery because of our location. Come to us for specific, you know,
Okay.
come and try our beers. Here's home.
Now, what do you, at your current location, because you're just moving from one side to the other, at your current location, do you offer food trucks to go there, and or is that going to be something that you're going to look at in the future?
Yeah, definitely in the future. Given the current state mandates, in order for our tasting room to be open, we need to partner with a food vendor, and have in the past worked with a catering company who would come in and stuff and offer food. And then also we would love to have more food trucks out, you know, operating within the city standards and any permits that we need to provide to do that.
Now, because everything's changing, and LA, and like I believe it was like 8 cities that got that mandate that they had to shut down their bars, and Ventura County was one of those recommended locations. How does that affect your business right now, moving forward?
So it is day to day. Right now, we are our tasting room is shut down. We are not allowing what we call sit-in service. We do to go and pick up orders. People order online, then walk up to the door and take it home with them. Our Brewers Association has been lobbying for us. I just got an email today stating that within this 3-week shutdown, that we would be allowed to open up our tasting room only if we were partnered with a food vendor, and only if had outdoor seating. Now, in this current space that we're in, that it would be a little challenging. We would need to work with the ABC the local police department and our landlord to make sure that we would be doing that in a safe manner. Honestly, at this point right now, we are going to just try to ride out the 3 weeks doing pickups and to-go orders because also it creates a headache with staffing and, just organization, being temporary tables and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's not before us tonight. Okay.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions of staff or the applicant? Okay, I have a question of staff and the applicant. You'll notice that I was the chair in 2015 when your brewery was allowed. And so I actually do have a recollection of this. So please clarify the number of parking spaces. Parking seemed previously to be an issue. I don't see it as an issue in this new resolution. The 2015 resolution said that there were 245 parking spots, and now the staff report is indicating there's 275 parking spots. Which is it?
Chair Frank, thank you for that question. Just to clarify, it is 275 that would have been required at the time. There are 277 spaces existing. I did see that number of 245 in the file, the original file from 2015, but there was an updated report to fix that.
Okay, okay, I just wanted that clarified. Are there any parking issues there?
No, there are no parking issues.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, what is this neighbor talking about when he says sometimes there are parking issues when there's a special event? The community outreach, there was one.
Scott Swenson, would you be able to handle that question?
Yeah, there was one nearby business operator that did make a comment that there are times when there's a special event at the brewery that sometimes parking becomes difficult. He didn't drill down to any details, but I suspect it just caused him to park a little further away from his business than normally. It wasn't as if there wasn't a parking space. It was a matter of a little bit more walking.
Okay, so
The fair side
of the applicant, what is the current capacity for your tasting room? The one you have now?
Where we're at now, we can seat roughly about 25 to 30 people. That's obviously not the case. The current COVID stuff, separation.
No, I'm not talking about in COVID.
Tables.
Yeah. So what is the capacity of the tasting room you're in now? COVID or no COVID? What is it? 30?
It's around 25, 30 people.
Okay. And the space
25 to 30 people.
Okay. And the space that you're planning on taking over, what's the capacity for that?
It's similar, same in square footage.
Okay. Okay. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Yes, Chair. Thank you, Chair Frank. Question, just looking at what is currently going on or what is envisioned for both the applicant and perhaps fellow similar businesses in the area. I know there's Tronkus Winery, and I know the Herzog Wine Cellars and their Terrasour restaurant is not far. So I'm wondering, are there plans in place, or is there anything going on currently where there's like winery, brewery tour kind of a situation that would maybe alleviate some parking issues, but also be a business attractant to help create that experience of the destination where people, I can go to 3 places on this tour and be on a wine bus and
This is so
Yes.
We're not here to do business development, Commissioner. I mean,
No, it's a curiosity because I'm trying to envision where this is headed, because I'm noticing that there's multiple operators doing similar work in that area, and is that part of the vision of what we might see there?
do you have any information on that?
I would just answer that in
Mr.
most cases. The beer buses mainly stick to beer and normally don't cross over to wineries. The people who are getting on those buses usually are beer bus. Ones that we've had stop by in the past, definitely fixed. But we've had a few. There are a few operators in the county that do those type of operations.
Great, thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Do I have a motion?
Vice Chair Sanchez raised his hand.
Okay, I have a motion. Thank you for seeing that.
Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you barely.
Okay. Also, talk a little louder. Just question to Mr. Wyand. So the way I understood what you were applying from the point with the planning commission, I thought it was expansion of your business, but you mentioned that square footage of your new facility is just about the same. Is that correct? Did I hear that correctly?
I think the square footage.
Yeah, I'm
is
having a
larger,
little
but-
trouble hearing you.
He's asking about.
So
the
what
square
has actually
footage.
happened is where our location. Yeah, so the square footage of the tasting room's roughly the same. And what we're doing is the other spaces that we have, the suite 10, are leases. So we're giving that up, we're giving that back, and then we're putting it all under one roof because our production facility is located at Suite 360. So we're taking similar square footage that we did in 310 and having that in our suite. And so we're all under one roof. So we're really not expanding operations, we're consolidating.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. Appreciate it very much.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Does someone want to make a motion?
Move the recommended action.
A second. We have roll call.
Commissioner Chavez,
Aye.
Chair Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Sanchez.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. And good to you, Mr. Wayne.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
Best of luck, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Let's move to item H on our agenda, study session or reports. I don't believe we have any of those. We can move to item I, Planning Commission business. Any business? I don't have any business. Let's move to item J, Community Development Staff Updates. Mr. Kolwitz?
Chair Frank, thank you for that introduction. I have a couple announcements for you, four altogether. As it relates directly to the Planning Commission, your next meeting on July 16th has been canceled, and we're going to be sending out a notice of cancellation following this meeting, so please know that. Your next meeting is going to be scheduled on August 6th, so you have a little bit of a break, but thank you for your hard work on all these projects. Looking outside of Planning Commission action and other actions by decision makers, just a few days ago on June 30th, the City Council held their meeting, and at that meeting they approved the second reading of the Sakuoka Farms Development Agreement. So that was a unanimous action by them, and in 30 days that goes into effect. So that's probably one of the last reports that I'm going to give to you about the farm development agreement and the map. As other projects are coming online, we'll try to let you know about what the buildings are that are being proposed out there. But per the SACURA specific plan, subsequent buildings are under the authority of the director, community development director. So most of those will not be going to the planning commission. So just to share that with you. In addition to that, as I look at the next calendar, July 10th, it's this, not tomorrow, but this next Friday, the California Coastal Commission will be conducting a hearing on the short-term rental regulations. Excuse me. We have posted or updated our website to include their report, and the Coastal Commission's website has a copy of that report as well. The Coastal Commission did notify us today that they intend to update the report that they have already submitted. So as of Monday, a staff report addendum should be issued to possibly modify some more of their conditions or regulations that they're looking at. So more to come for all of us on that, but wanted to keep
When? Do we know when?
They told us Monday. They didn't give us a time as to when on Monday. So July 6th is when we're expecting that addendum to be reported.
Okay, thank you.
And then as far as the actual timing of the hearing, July 10th is a Friday. I believe we're item 13A on the agenda. They take items chronologically. So I can't give you an estimation for when that item will be heard, but Friday is the day that it will be heard. And city staff will be participating in that process. And then as we look further out into the future, July 29th is a future city council meeting date. And the city council is going to be reviewing a project that you were familiar with once upon a time, the proposed 7-Eleven project at 2900 Saviors Road. You might recall that they appealed your decision. The applicant asked for that appeal to be held off for some time. We just received a request from them to put it back on calendar and move the appeal forward. So we're going to be going to the city council with that appeal. So again, July 29th is the date for that item. And with that, those are the reports that I have for all of you from the Community Development Department. So thank you all for what you do on a bi-monthly basis with us, and we wish all of you a great 4th of July holiday.
And the same to you and all of you. Thank you very much. Let's adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Chavez, did you have something?
I just had a couple of questions to staff. The July 29th, there was discussion that 7-Eleven applicant was going to redo their design and come back to us. Have they decided not to go in that direction and just decided to appeal the decision?
We have not received a new application that would require a withdrawal of their current application. So the item before City Council will be an appeal of the Planning Commission's decision to deny the project. If the council denies that, then maybe they will come back with something else. But that's maybe a little bit speculative right now since they have not submitted anything to us.
Okay. And in regards to the California Coastal Commission, I did receive that email that you sent out. I did review the attachment for, that was city staff, and I also read the recommendation from the Coastal Commission. That July 6th, that is the amendments, or making the changes, or did I hear that wrong?
Let me clarify. July 10th is the hearing date. And they've already, previously they've submitted their staff report. Between when they submitted their staff report online or posted their staff report online and the hearing, they have an opportunity to post an addendum. So a change to the recommended action. That change is anticipated to be posted on their website on July 6th.
Great. All right. I appreciate that. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, staff.
Thank you. All right, we'll stand adjourned. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you.
Happy 4th
Thank
of
you
July.
all.
Thank
Fourth,
you.
everyone. Be safe.
Care.